What's going on, Packers fans? Aaron Nagler here, joined by a very special guest for a different Green Bay football team, the head coach of the Green Bay Blizzard. It is Corey Roberson joining me here before your playoff game. You have a playoff game coming up in a couple weeks. How are you, Coach?
Doing well. It's always great after a win, right?
It is. That's why I did want to start with that, because I know you guys clinched a playoff berth a couple games ago, right? And the fact that you still have some games. I know you're closing out the season this Saturday, I believe, against the Sioux Falls Storm on the road. Is that tough as a coach to kind of keep the focus? Because you've got the playoffs in the bag, so to speak, but now you kind of almost have to refocus for the postseason.
Yeah. Well, we're focused on the postseason. When the postseason get here, we got this mantra of one more, and Sioux Falls is next up. And I mean, we are human, and it's easy to look ahead to see who we may be playing, but we can't determine that unless we win this weekend against Sioux Falls. So we could determine, and when the other teams play, of who's going to be the number 1 and number 4 seed or whatnot, and how that goes. But we're just taking it one game at a time, and Sioux Falls is next up.
Well, I know this is your first playoff appearance for the Blizzard since 2019, which is the year that you came on the scene as the head coach and had your first playoff appearance for the Blizzard back then, the first time in 7 seasons. Is it sweet to be back in the playoffs? I got to think, you come in your first year as head coach, you're in the playoffs, it's probably thinking, this is what I do, right? And then now you've had a couple of years away, and now you're back in the playoffs. Does it make you appreciate it that much more?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the grind in the off season, the recruiting. I tell everyone when they ask about the recruiting process and how did it change or whatnot. We had a lot of no's. We talked to a lot of players. We got a lot of no's, but we got the right yeses. And that's why we're in the position that we're in now as an organization with the players that took a chance on us in Green Bay. We don't have the luxury of, being next to the ocean. We got Lake Michigan, baby.
A little different. Hey, man, maybe you never know. You never know what people are into, what might attract them to the Green Bay area. Something that has been a hallmark of your program, like I mentioned in 2019, when you made the playoffs, you guys had a lights out defense. You once again this season. I believe when I looked last week, you guys were number 1 in the league in a lot of different metrics as far as just your overall defense, but specifically against the pass. What is it that you're doing? What is it that you look for? What is your kind of mantra that has enabled you guys to be really consistent on that side of the ball in a league where, let's face it, it ain't about defense.
Right.
They want people going up and down the field and scoring points.
Right, and we take that as a challenge on the defensive side of the ball. That's our opportunity to show that it's still football, and defense wins. And these young men are going out there, they're playing at a high level, and playing at their level for sure, and they're doing it well. They bought into the system. They bought into what our philosophy is on the defensive side of the ball, and we got the guys that can make the extra play.
Nice. I love it. Something that I did want to ask you about, just because obviously Cheesehead TV, we cover the Packers. I've been a lifelong NFL football fan. I've watched a few indoor games, but I have to admit, watching some of the highlights and looking at the tape, so to speak, of the Blizzard and your opponents, the difference is so stark as far as what's allowed motion-wise, guys going towards the line of scrimmage, multiple guys. Was that a big transition for you? Because I know you played defensive back in college, but now you get to the indoor league and you have to coach a defense against an offense that is allowed to do a lot of different things that aren't allowed in traditional football.
Yeah, it's about, being a student of the game, right? And as long as you learning and growing, you'll be able to elevate and keep moving forward as well. So the transition is, the speed of the game is it's night and day.
Right.
Right. I played both, right? So after my playing days in the indoor game, I went back and played a little bit of outdoor, and you see everything so much faster, and you sitting there waiting, like, I see what you're trying to do to me, get there, because the game is that the difference in speed. But the transition, you playing on a 50-yard field, you got the guys in high motion. And they got an advantage, right? The 10-yard start. It's kind of like that Canadian, the CFL with the high motions over there. But these guys are full speed coming down, and 50 yards is 50 yards. You could get that real quick.
Yeah.
run play. So it is an adjustment. And the way we run our defense, we try to eliminate the high motion as much as possible to make it regular football.
What can people expect going to a Blizzard game? I got to think there'll probably be some people watching this who might get interested in the idea of, hey, I can pop over to the Resch Center and watch a playoff game. I mean, that's pretty dope. What's the environment like? What's the vibe? What do you take pride in when you put the Blizzard out on the field?
Yeah, well, let's talk about the game day promotion, with our front office, our admin office, and things.
Look at you, coach. All right, man. They got you good. They got you like ready to go. I'm impressed.
Well, I got to pay homage to what the crew over there is doing. Putting butts in the seats and all that
played.
stuff.
Well done.
They work hard. I got to acknowledge them and make sure that they get the credit that they deserve, because they've done a lot with bringing the fans in, as well as us doing our part on the field. To keep guys or keep the fans entertained. But our game day operations, they are on point with all the different activities. Is one. I will say this: it's one thing that they do that I despise, that I really do not like.
That's right. Let it out, coach.
It's this beach ball, and they are fully aware this beach ball come out in the fourth quarter, sometime in the fourth quarter, and this ball just always happen to make its way to us.
Oh no! Oh no! Well, I think for the playoff game, can't you have some kind of coach's decree? Can't you demand? Isn't there something you can do to eliminate it? Like that feels like that. If the coach says so, this shouldn't be going on. It shouldn't be going on.
It's about the fans. The fans get engaged. The fans love it.
There you go.
And we all about it. So I swallow my pride when it comes to that. I just stay out of the way.
I love it. I absolutely love it. For anyone who is interested in catching the playoff game on Friday, July 26th at the Resch Center, we will have a link in the description of this video that you can go to get your tickets. It's going to be really exciting. Coach, I know we've talked a lot about the defensive side of the ball, but I did want to touch on your offense, because your quarterback is having a hell of a year. Max Myler, I believe is his name, who has he's putting up not only kind of huge numbers, but he's done a phenomenal job of eliminating interceptions. The fact that he's only thrown, I believe, 4 on the year, as Packers fans who watched Aaron Rodgers for a very long time take care of the ball, that gives you a huge advantage as far as, okay, our offense is going to have a lot of opportunities to score, and it's not going to give the opponent the same opportunities.
Correct. Yeah, no, that's a good point right there. It's protecting the ball, being the manager of the game, and doing your part, not turning the ball over. That's huge, especially for the quarterback position and the offense to have that success, as well as the defense is creating a lot of turnovers, to giving us that much more opportunity to score. But no, Max has been great this year, his second year with us, and he's every bit of advertised. The stats don't lie. And being where he's at, 4 interceptions, 20-something, 30-something touchdown passes, 20-something rushing touchdowns. He is, the game has slowed down to him, and that's good to see him going out there and flourishing.
Yeah, he's absolutely balling. And then you flip it over on the defensive side of the ball, you have a first-year guy named Shawn Williamson along your defensive line. It sounds like he has really kind of stepped in and helped you guys kind of retain that, or kind of reclaim that mantle as the top defense in the league.
Yeah. No, you talk about building a team down the middle, right? You got a center, guard, quarterback, linebacker. And I think we checked the boxes there this year. Shawn has been a man amongst boys. At the nose guard position, right? He's leading the league in tackle for losses. He's missed a couple of games these past few weeks, but he's, was number 1 in sacks. I think he's probably top 3 in sacks, at the nose guard position. That's unheard of.
That's crazy.
Right? Where you're getting double teamed and almost every play, right? Especially if they're running the ball, to still be able to get to tackle for losses. So no, he's been great. He's been a great addition to us. He come from Sam Houston, the winning program. In college, won the national championship, as well as he has some experience in the XFL. So it's been great to have him part of our team.
Absolutely. I'm talking to Corey Roberson, the head coach of the Green Bay Blizzard. Coach, before I let you go, one last question for you, because I, obviously going to do a little research on you and try and figure out who I'm talking to before I talk to you. And I noticed in your bio that it says that you do live in the Sheboygan area, and that you help various high school coaches throughout the season. And number one, as a Sheboyganite myself, originally, shout out to Sheboygan. And two, what is it about helping high school coaches that you find the time for? Because I know for myself as a lifelong football fan, I always kind of consider the high school game almost somewhat the purest version of the game, as far as like what you're asking those kids to do, but what they're doing it for, and the way the community really comes together around high school football. What about it has attracted you to kind of helping high school coaches?
Yeah, I mean, that I started coaching high school football back in 2010, and at the different schools here in Sheboygan. So yes, I commute. It's my wife said, if you're gonna take the job, you got to do the drive. So so we stayed here for all these years, and it's a good hour, 45 minutes to an hour drive. So I get to debrief, and I sometimes, and it depends if you ask my kids this or not, I get to be dad at home.
Yes.
And they saying I'm still coaching. Stop coaching them. But
right.
At the high school level, it's you're right. It is pure, right? To pour back into the youth and give them opportunities to give them a better understanding of what else is out there. It's for me to stay involved with the game, to continue to stay fresh with the outdoor game. Just never know. If I may get called up to move up to a higher league as well. So I have to keep my resume and also keep my knowledge fresh for the outdoor game. But it's just really giving back and helping out. I got a couple of buddies that coach high school, and I don't get to make any decisions. I'm a volunteer,
right.
And I get to just be there and help coach coaches, and do it from the box. For the high school level. So
love it. Well, I love that you do that. I love that you took the time to talk to us here at Cheesehead TV. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get your playoff tickets now. Like I said, there's a link in the description of this video. Coach, good luck on the 26th. We'll be rooting you on.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.